Hey guys, let's go for a cruise, find out if she is finally the ultimate adventure bike. I must say, from here it is a striking looking bike. It's got the sort of scaffolding railings on the back for the panniers there. It's a really purposeful looking bike straight off the bat. It's big, but yeah, it looks mean, it looks rugged, it looks like you're going on a proper adventure, excuse the term. I'll quickly mention actually, with the tank, it's actually hardly any bigger than the smaller tank, and they've just used some clever technology. The tank's made out of aluminium, so it can be much thinner than if it was plastic, where you have to have 2 layers. It's not actually that much bigger than the standard V4S, which is quite a clever little trick that Ducati have managed to pull off. Keyless ignition, so I will put the key in my pocket. So this thing is retailing at £23,950. So it is right up there in the adventure segment with the big boys, as it should be. It is loaded with every single piece of technology ever on a motorcycle that you could ever need. It's pretty impressive. When you jump on, you feel like you're jumping on just like a tech fest. I am not going to need anything else to take me on a big adventure touring trip than on this bike. It is just loaded with everything. And on that, the switchgear touch points, it's all really quality. That is definitely noticeable. Let's fire her up. So this has actually got an Akrapovic, excuse the pronunciation, slip-on. It sounds okay. Got to admit, it's not mega though. Okay, pop her into first gear. Just going to concentrate when I get out of this junction, because I don't want to crash. Whilst we're here guys, big thank you to Oxford Ducati, part of the Blade Motorcycles group here in Abingdon, for lending me the bike for today. Very generous of them, and I must say it was sort of last minute as well, so big shout out. Oh look, Ferrari! Another red Italian beast. Big shout out to Oxford Ducati, thank you very much for lending me the bike. Okay. Hey-oh! I haven't been on a big adventure bike for a while. Nelly! So we got a 1158cc V4 from Ducati with 170 horsepower. Come on, quick shifter, there it is. And 120 Newton meters of torque, so it's the most powerful adventure bike on the market. I'm in touring mode at the moment. Oh, this thing is fun. It's a fun motor. Gotta say, in touring mode, it's very fun, and it's, don't get me wrong, incredibly fast, but it is not setting my hair on fire. What do we have here? Scrambler 1200? No, not a nodder. It's not setting my hair on fire. However, when you put these bikes in sports mode, that's when they shine. So we'll do that a bit later. I'll go over specs and everything a bit later. I just want to get a feel for the bike initially, just to feel what she's like. So guys, just tech wise quickly, you've got your blind spot monitoring, all the same as on the V4S. You got your radar, cruise control thingamajig at the front. You have a lot. You've got many different riding modes. I'm not going to go fully into it. Full phone connectivity, navigation, obviously heated grips, fully adaptive electronic suspension, front and rear, cornering ABS, cornering traction control, any piece of tech you can think of, basically this thing has it. Straight off the bat, does it feel much bigger than the V4S? I would say it does feel a little bit bigger. Not a lot, but it does feel a little bit bigger with that higher travel suspension and a slightly bigger, it's a lot bigger capacity fuel tank, but actual dimensions wise, slightly bigger fuel tank. And the bigger screen, it does feel like a slightly larger proposition than the standard V4S, so that's quite interesting to know. However, it doesn't feel much less maneuverable, just bundling through town here, very easy. Classic Ducati, very wide handlebars guys, for tipping in and out for that counter steer, and the fueling is very smooth, just rolling on the throttle. Because it's a V4, now they are mimicking slightly a V-twin, and it does sort of work, but because it's a V4, when you roll on, it's not immediate torque, so it's quite smooth. It can be quite relaxing actually to ride, and when you get on it, There you go. When the induction starts happening around sort of 6,000 RPM, it's got that classic Ducati character to it, which is really nice. But you do have to raise the revs a bit. Definitely worth revving it out, this engine. Okay, so far, yeah, very comfortable. I can notice it being a bit higher, as I've already said. But yeah, this feels like a large, serious piece of kit that you're gonna go touring with. Right, let's go this way because there's some nice flowing A roads here. Turns in nicely, nice engine braking as well. So this is the screen in its lowest setting actually. Let's pop it up. Oh wow, really good wind protection. I'm getting a little bit to the top of my helmet, but not much at all. It's almost covering completely on my shoulders as well. You can definitely notice the bigger screen. Right, let's put her across from touring to change the mode. So you got enduro, urban, sport, so that's what we're after. Here we go. Whoa. It's a super powerful, quick bike. It's not as exciting, I don't think, as the KTM Super Adventure, the 1290. This is nowhere near as leery as that. I personally don't think. It's a funny one, this bike. It's really powerful. I always hear everyone raving about how quick it is, which it is very fast, but I would describe it as it's more relaxing than fast. It does feel like a great engine for touring, which could add to it being the ultimate adventure motorcycle. What's it like around this roundabout? Yeah, I mean, it handles really well. It's easily maneuverable. Oh yeah, she gets... Oh, you're going a lot quicker than you realise. So the sport mode just makes it that bit peppier lower down, coming out of that roundabout there. It felt quite exciting. I am getting a little bit of heat actually from the engine. Nothing bad at all, but just a point to notice. Don't know if that's specifically this bike or not. Can it overtake? I think it probably can, yeah. Extremely accomplished. Right, so nothing like going over the specs of your motorbike in the local golf club, because you always come across a nice car. Look at that. Is that the F12 Portofino? Let's have a closer look. Look at that, the cream of the crop. Two Italian stallions next to each other. That is a beautiful car, isn't it? I'm not sure what that is. I think it's the front-engined, naturally aspirated V12, possibly I forgot what it's called. Oh, it's gorgeous. I think oh yeah, F12 on the number plate, F12. It's the F12, yeah. Stonking. Back to the bike. Okay, let's go over some specs. Someone's just started trimming the golf course, which is not ideal, but I'm going to crack on because we're professionals and we can just keep on going. So let's start off with the suspension. So front suspension is 50mm, fully adjustable, electronically adjustable, upside down forks up front. On the rear, guys, it's electronically, again, fully adjustable shock. Ducati Skyhook suspension, they call it, up front and rear, both with 200mm of travel, so a nice amount of travel there for off-roading. Not at the extreme end compared to some other serious off-roading adventure bikes, but it's enough for a bike like this. I wouldn't want it any taller, to be honest, with a bike with this sort of weight, etc. Front brakes, two 330mm discs with 4-piston radially mounted Brembo Stylema brakes. Brakes are very strong on this bike. Nicely gauged in, they're not too sharp, but when you start wanting to really pull on them and stop, the brakes are mighty impressive. Rear brakes, you have a single 265mm disc with a 2-piston floating Brembo caliper. Again, pretty strong rear brakes as well for as far as rear brakes go. Also, you can't see them in this shot. They're around the other side of the bike on the right-hand side. Trust me, they're there. Wet weight, 260 kilograms, ready to go. You know, it's up there with the rest of the top of the range adventure bikes. I would say, comparing this to the GS 1250 Adventure, the GS does have it up on the weight feeling, as it's just got its engine so low down, you know, that classic benefit of the GS. Again, the KTM 1290 It feels a bit less top heavy. It's got those bladder fuel tanks at the bottom, so it's got its fuel nice and low down. This is not bad by any means, but out of those three bikes, I would say this feels slightly more top heavy than the rest of them. Seat height. It started cutting the grass again. Seat height 870 to 890 millimeters. Adjustable as is, but then there's seriously so many options. I'm not even going to mention them or precisely mention them. Opting for lower suspension, a specific lower seat height, higher suspension, a specific higher seat height. There's massive variation in the seat height, so trust me, you should be alright if you're of a normal human being's height. Great options for seat height there, but as is, you know, it's a tall adventure bike. I'm sort of just on the balls of my feet. It can be a little bit tricky to maneuver around, but that's just the case with these big adventure bikes, especially the ones with the longer travel suspension for off-roading. Yeah, I would say the GS and the KTM are a little bit easier to maneuver around at a standstill as well, actually. Okay, let's go see, and I'll give you my verdict as to whether I think this is finally the ultimate adventure bike. Bye-bye, Ferrari! You're lovely. One thing I think with these big adventure bikes, and actually even this Ducati, riding it now, like, okay, I would take this up a gravel, I'm not an experienced off-roader, I would take this up a gravel track. Go on, son. Oh, he's in the bunker. Can he do it? Hey, got it on the green. Off-roading, I would take on a light gravel track, but any more than that, absolutely no chance. I am not taking the £24,000 motorbike of this size and weight seriously off-roading. Just not happening. So that's quite a big point, actually, having just said, let's just get out of this junction, sorry. Safety first. That's actually quite a big point, saying basically that I would never take this off-road. Why would you buy this over the standard V4S? Well, the bigger fuel tank, and at the rate this engine goes through fuel, you will want a bigger fuel tank if you're planning on going far. The bigger screen, wind protection, I'm just going to go straight into it. Other than that, I don't see the point. Sorry. If you want to go off-roading seriously, then you're probably not going to use this bike anyway. If you're just going on gravel tracks, then you can do that with the normal V4S, to be honest. I mean, the only reason I would buy this V4S over the standard V4 is because of the bigger tank and perhaps a bigger windscreen. Is that worth the extra cash? I mean, you've got to make your own mind up on that. It's your money. Sort of just stumbled upon that point there. Feels like I'm hating on this bike. I'm not. It's absolutely fantastic. It just feels a little bit unnecessary. I think the V4S is enough. Oh, come on, bus. These are lovely roads, and they're stuck behind a big double-decker. Okay, guys, so just got rid of the bus, and now we're behind a skip. So I feel like I've just done this bike a bit of an injustice. It's fantastic for long distance travel. So comfortable, effective and fast as well. Handles very well for a big bike, stops very well, got all of the tech you'll ever need. Got all of the power you'll ever need for touring. Oh, it's starting actually. It's so good. It's almost too good in my opinion. Now this is literally just personal preference in a motorbike, but it just doesn't gel with me. That's honestly just personal. It's an incredible machine. It's just almost too good. It's too good at everything. I'm not getting much character and love from it. For comfort, speed, riding dynamics and everything, it's mighty impressive. But personal opinion, it just does everything so well, I'm just not falling in love with it, I'm afraid. But that's personal. Is it the ultimate new adventure bike because of the 30-litre tank and the spoke wheels and the screen? I mean, objectively, looking at the sheet, the facts, I think it probably is. Yes, I'll say it is the ultimate adventure bike. However, from a personal opinion and soul and character and just love for the bike, I'm sorry, but I would probably have a GS over this. Yeah, just more character from that boxer twin engine. Easier to ride the GS as well, I think. So yeah, I think that's my overall conclusion. I think this is objectively the best. Oh, look at that bird. Wow. Just floating around there, the best adventure bike. Now, However, I wouldn't buy it with my own money. I would buy a GS instead. Exciting. Sorry about that conclusion, guys. It's not very exciting, but there you have it. The switchgear, everything on it, the TFT, you know, everything on it is top quality, as it is, let's be honest, with all of the adventure bikes. I would say the Ducati is actually better than KTM quality wise. Yeah, it's just not hitting the sweet spot for me. Maybe it's one of those bikes you need to spend more time with. I've only had it for sort of half of the day. Maybe it's one of those bikes that sort of grows on you over time, but personally it's not one for me at this moment in time. Anywho, many thanking yous for watching, very much so. I hope you enjoyed the video and got something from it at least. But as I always say, get out and test ride these bikes yourself, because they're very much personal opinions. I can blab away forever about what the specs of a bike and what the pieces of paper are saying and everything, but you really need to ride them for yourself. It just goes to show the most expensive, most powerful, most tech-ridden bike is not always the best when you ride it. It might not gel with you, so yeah, get out and give it a go. Many thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Ciao, bella.